Good morning, beautiful being. It is lovely to see you. And we are inside today because while it looks beautiful in the photograph that I took from the top of the hill, it's a bit windy. And windy means noisy, and so here we are inside with the rocks, which is never a bad thing. Here's something sparkly. This is bismuth, which is a manufactured crystal. I think they started off happening in the petrochemical hoppers, places where, like petrol refineries, you see these metals that are soluble in the crude oil, and these crystals must have started growing inside the hoppers where things were being refined. But now they tend to be manufactured, otherwise they'd be, wouldn't be enough of them. And they're beautiful because, they've got all the iridescence that you associate with petrochemicals. And what do I need to say? Just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I'm enjoying these. This is just, I've got a few pieces. This is actually part of a pair. It was like there's another one that came this way, and it broke. I kind of knew it was going to when I bought it. But I liked it so much, and I can still match them up if I want to, and I thought about gluing them back together, and I thought, why would I do that? They clearly want to be apart. So there you go, bismuth. This is something else shiny and sparkly. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Linda. It's lovely to see you here. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, good morning. This is tiger iron. So you can see the little streaks of tiger eye, which is, the golden part, and in between is hematite, so it gets called tiger iron. And it's a very shiny, sparkly thing, even though it's tumble polished. It's just beautiful. I'm really very fond of this little piece of tumbled rock. There you are, you can see the tiger's eye on the end. So another lovely thing for us this morning. This is, of course, labradorite, and it's beautiful. I got this one from Trade Me, which is kind of like our eBay in New Zealand. Morning, Julia. Lovely to see you. And when I saw this one on screen, because I bought it on the computer, of course, I knew that it was really sad. I just got this really, I need healing feeling from it. And so, I worked with it when I got it here, and it's now much happier. Hi, Frida. Morning. It's lovely to see you. So it's a beautiful piece with its, blue flashes that we know we love about labradorite. But the nice thing is that the energy of the stone is also happy. Nesreen, good morning. Little hearts, so much love indeed. Because crystals, they have a consciousness too, and you got to remember that they have been in whatever shape they've been in inside the earth for thousands and thousands of years most of the time, and then somebody comes along, yanks them out and says, oh, well, you're going to be this shape and you're going to be that shape. Imagine the shock to that consciousness, whatever it is. So, quite often when you get a crystal, it needs a bit of help to adapt to the fact that it's no longer in the earth. Last but not least, this is another shaped crystal of which I'm really fond. This is a quartz point, right? And it would have been fugly, it would have been ugly, it would have been all rough and difficult to see through on the outside. And it's been polished. And it's amazing what is revealed by that polishing. Yeah, it is the favourite heart. It's a lovely one. This is one of my favourite rocks, if I have a favourite, which I don't. It's grown in layers, and it's got this really, very optically clear part. This is a crystal that's grown in, and you just turn it round and round. It's like here's this flat piece, and then it takes a zigzag because, of course, this is the shape of the crystal. Like that's one part of the hexagon. And obviously it broke. And it's just gorgeous. I'm very fond of this. So, there you go. Could play with those for a long time, but I'm going to get to the point. Otherwise, we don't get to the point, right? And the point today is talking about, last week, amongst many things, we were talking about saying no. And one of you contacted me privately and said, well, look, the thing that really gets me, if I say no, if I disagree, people shout at me. They shout me down. They yell at me, and I'm terrified of that. And actually, I relate. Not that it was ever that extreme, but, you know, as a child, I remember disapproval terrified me. I know I've said this before, you know, I got really good at keeping people happy, and it's great to be able to have good connections and help people and do all of that, but you know, a huge motivating factor for me was I don't like it when people look at me with me or get angry or terrifying, really scary. So I relate to this. So I thought, well, shit, what do you do, you know, when you're really scared about saying no because the person you're disagreeing with is going to yell at you, Dawn, good morning, it's lovely to see you. And so I thought, well, yeah, okay. The first thing about disagreeing, just to state what might or might not be obvious, is there is nothing wrong with disagreeing. I get the feeling that some of us need to hear that. You know, you are allowed to have your own opinion. You can be right, you can be wrong. And actually what you find is that often in the case where I disagree with you or you disagree with someone else, we're actually both right. Because, you know, truth, rightness, whatever is very individual. It's also subjective, you know. So the whole thing of who's right and who's wrong and who needs to agree with whom starts off being very polarized, but actually it's not. So there is nothing wrong with disagreeing. There's nothing wrong with having your own mind and having your own opinion. The challenge often comes when you want to express it. And for whatever reason, you have developed or adopted or come to feel a great fear of what will happen when you do. So, the first thing that I think about needing to disagree or stating your truth or expressing your, you know, yourself when it's not in alignment with what everybody else is doing or saying, or one particular person or a workplace or whatever, is actually to realise that you need to disagree before there's an enormous emotional charge in the situation. I think this gets missed a lot. You know, by the time we realise, oh shit, that person's such an asshole, I really don't agree with them, I can't say what I think, they're going to yell at me, the whole thing is really charged, and they've probably been imposing things on you, like, you know, at a work meeting, they've probably been dumping shit or saying things you don't agree with for the last 10 or 15 minutes, and you've only just noticed that you disagree with them. But by the time you notice, they're in full flight. They think everybody agrees because nobody's spoken up. I've been in this situation, by the way. People were far too scared to disagree with this guy. So, you know, I'm thinking of him. But not just him. For me, there were many people I was scared to displease. So, the first thing is to realise, as soon as you think, man, yeah, this isn't true for me. Now, it doesn't mean you have to become reactive. Doesn't mean you have to jump in and, you know, make a big stink. The moment somebody says something that's a problem for you, just repeating what I said when we had the bump, but you need to notice. You need to know when you disagree. And yeah, there's that whole thing of control, but I'm not going to go there today, Nesreen. I might get to it later, but if I lose this thought, you know what'll happen? I'll lose it. Like, where did I go? So, to actually notice, as soon as you realise, hang on, I'm not in line with this person. And for some of you, you might go back 40 years. The very first time you thought, that person's imposing something on me I don't like. Oh shit, I have to say yes. I think, actually, whoa, no I don't. And yeah, people want to control us and push us around and all that, but yeah, I don't actually want to talk about that today. So, to realise the moment the interaction starts to go south, if you like, the moment it starts to go wrong and think, okay, this is when I have to speak up. Not when I'm feeling completely put upon, when I'm feeling angry, when I'm feeling frustrated, and also, by the way, not when that person, because of your acquiescence, is expecting you to do what they're imposing on you. Right at the moment. When it's like training a child, and by the way, I'm not a parent, but I watch other people do this. As soon as the behaviour happens that you don't want, life and universes and, other demands happening, in an ideal world where you have infinite energy and attention to give to it, you address the behaviour then. Appropriately, of course, but you address it immediately. So when somebody starts imposing something on you, it's actually the same thing. Because that person really is behaving like a 2-year-old, right? They are imposing themselves on you. They are imposing their will on you because some part of them needs to feel powerful. They're just scared, right? That really is the reason why they're doing it. Fundamentally, nobody would impose anything on anyone if they weren't feeling fear, competition, whatever. But you've actually got to notice it as soon as it happens and not squash it down and say, oh, well, because I'm too scared to do anything about it. You've got to notice it and actually go through the process of facing your own fear and thinking, well, never mind the fact that I'm too scared to do anything about it. What would I say and how would I behave if I was going to, right? Just, if in a crazy alternate universe I knew what to say, what would I say? What would I do? How would I handle this? And then this is the part of it that matters. Yeah, that person is scared. There is always fear. Underneath everything there is fear. There's either love or there's fear. And it gets expressed a million different ways, a million different people. Fundamentally, you have to take your attention off the fact that you expect them to yell at you, at that scary picture in your head and the scary feeling in your body that you have rehearsed for many years probably. You know how to feel scared of them yelling at you. I can see the disapproving looks, and it's not even one person. It's just this feeling and this internal visualization, which is, oh my God, I can't stand it when people disapprove of me. It's there, neural net, right? Chemistry, instant. I know how to do that. And it's so emotionally charged that all your attention goes on. Oh yeah, I've got to avoid that. It's so painful. I feel so small and so stupid and so bad when they yell at me. Whatever. You got to take your attention away from that. Because if you have the same experience as I've had, your whole life is about avoiding having that painful thing happen. And so you're thinking, where is the next thing that can make that painful thing happen? How can I avoid it? And all your attention is on looking for this thing. So you see it everywhere, and then you're busy avoiding it everywhere. And all your energy goes into looking for it, finding it, and avoiding it. And while you do that, you're just going to keep on being scared of being yelled at if you disagree. So you have to take your energy and your attention away from that. And that's hard because your body, not your mind, but your body is addicted to that feeling of terror and fear. It really knows how to do it. The cells at a cellular level, the receptors on the cell are adapted to the fact that this fearful thing happens in your body and your mind often. And it makes the body addicted to that experience. It literally does. And so if you decide that you're going to start thinking about who you are when you don't behave that way and when you don't feel that way and when you don't think that way, your body is going to start to crave the old fix. Just so you know. That's what makes change so difficult, because our bodies know how to be who we've been so well. They just know how to do it without our help. Tish, yay! It's great to see you. So you got to get your attention off that scary shit, and you got to start putting your attention on who you might be if you knew how to be the person that can say, hey, no. And you're yelling, and it's got nothing to do with me. And I've been feeling and believing and behaving like you have power over me to make me feel small, to make me feel bad, to make me feel guilty, to make me feel shame, whatever it is, to make me feel wrong. And that's a lie, and I'm no. And you start to say no as you start to just begin to, imagine, though, who you are when you don't behave the way that you've habitually thought and felt and behaved for the last however long it is. Remembering that it's very, very easy to do the thing that you don't want to do. So you literally are caught in the cycle of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking, and then that thinking and feeling leads to the experiences and the choice and the behaviours, which then reinforce the thinking and the feeling, and you believe your life is like this, and I can't disagree with anybody, because if I do, I'm going to feel awful. You got to get out of that cycle, and the first thing to do is to stop putting your attention on it. And I don't imagine, because I know what I'm like, that you can just do that. But you can make a choice to think, okay, I know I'm addicted to this. And I don't mean I really want to stay like this. I mean my body is used to doing this, and there's a super highway to feeling small and worthless inside my head, which is really easy to drive down. But I'm going to carve a new path in my neurology and my chemistry. And therefore my epigenetic expression and my hormones and, my biology is going to change. But I know I'm pushing against this massive resistance of all the fear that I had been used to inhabiting. So, okay, I know it's going to be challenging. Who am I when I've overcome that challenge? Who am I? And it feels so intellectual and so ridiculous and so crazy, about as stupid and delusional, and are you joking, Maddie, at the idea of me feeling abundant, feeling joy. That now is a reality. It was not when I started doing what I'm doing. It's like, don't get me started about joy, It made me angry because it was so far away from me. So if you feel anger, if you feel all of this getting real, that's normal. You're going to feel that resistance. You got to realise it's just your body saying, I don't want to change. So you got to be the mind and say, okay, I'm greater than my body, and I'm greater than my habits for the last however long. Who am I when I'm somebody else? And you may need to write it down, and it might look like, delusional and crazy, and this will never happen, and you'll have all that chatter in your head, and that's fine. Put it on paper. Make it visible. Because, I can see this. Oh yeah, this is who I'm choosing to be. And right now I'm failing miserably, but at least I know who I want to be. And it feels like pushing shit uphill, and that's fine. You've got to know what hill you want to push the shit up. Okay? As ridiculous as that sounds, it really is like that. When we are wanting to reverse something that we have been so good at doing and being for so long. When it's that automatic and normal that I'm scared, and that if I disagree with someone and they yell at me, I feel worthless, I feel useless, I feel terrified, all of that stuff. So easy to do. But who do I want to be? Let me first just get clear about that in my mind. And if it works for you, get a picture from a magazine or from, your favourite movie. Take a screen grab of the face of the person that you think you want to feel like, whatever it is. Get clear what it looks like, what you will feel like, what you will be doing, what you will be thinking, what you'll be hearing, what you'll be wearing. I don't know. You got to flesh out this new construction that you're creating in your being about how you're going to be. Sophia, Elaine, it's lovely to see you. That's what we have to do. And if you've been doing something else for a long time, it just feels really hard to start with. But I'm telling you, it's worth the effort to overcome yourself. To choose, who do I want to be? Get clear about it. Imagine. You know how to imagine. You have imagined yourself terrified for the last however long. Now imagine something else. Now imagine something else. Kathleen, it's gorgeous to see you. It's such a powerful conversation because it feels so impossible. But only you can say, no, this is the lie. The truth is, I can choose what I put my attention on. Have you got a left toe at the moment? There, you just put your attention on it. Which toe was it that you put your attention on? You know, you can choose what you put your attention on. Whatever you put your attention on becomes real to you. You weren't thinking about your left toe until I said, have you got a left toe? So, who are you when you're not scared to say no? Who are you when that person can say you're useless and you're worthless and that's bullshit and you should do what I say, and you're just like, oh please, you're full of shit. Lovingly, you're full of shit and you're just scared and I don't believe your bullshit anymore. Who are you when you can do that? And invest your energy and your intention there. Because for all the stories we tell ourselves about how impossible it is and how powerful it is and how overwhelming it is and how we can't change that because it's just how life is, that's not true. It just takes an immense choice to continue to choose. Who do I want to be and where am I going to put my attention? So powerful. I didn't say it was easy, but this is what we have to do, and this is what I have done. I know it works. Trey, good morning. And yeah, I have to wave my hand for the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, because that is what I have found actually helps me to change myself in this way. Nothing else has worked that well for me. Berna, it's great to see you, honey. Just finishing. I just got to go. It's lovely to greet you live. Nothing else has allowed me to go into my own subconscious, my own operating system and change the program. The things that I am changing, I could not think it differently. I couldn't do it with my mind. I had to go deeper. I had to change it in my own energy. I had to change it in my frequency and my vibration beyond being able to rationally say, I'm going to be different now. So you start by imagining who you choose to be. But understand that in my world, that's the way that I make real change. And it's change that I tried for a very long time to do and could never find the button to push, could never find the levers to drive myself. And now I can. I'm so grateful. So that's my rave today. Thank you for sharing your Sunday and your Monday with me. I look forward to seeing your comments because I haven't seen many of them. Big love. Don't get drawn into the fear about the thing that's happening on the planet at the moment. It is also a shift in consciousness. You and your state of mind directly, instantly, immediately affect how your immunity works. So keep your attention on what you want, which is love, wholeness, well-being. And your body will follow your mind to that future. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.